Sharks have been on Earth for 450 million years. They survived the asteroid that killed the dinosaurs. They survived 5 mass extinctions. They are, by almost any measure, the most successful large predator in the history of life on this planet. Now remove every predator they have. Orcas, great white competitors. The fishing nets that kill 100 million sharks per year. Gone. For 500 years. What happens to the oceans, and to everything that depends on them, is not what most people expect. Because this isn't a story about sharks taking over. It's a story about what happens when the thing at the top of a food chain is allowed to do its job without interference. And the answer changes depending on which ocean you're looking at. Year 1. Nothing dramatic happens. Shark populations, currently estimated at roughly half what they were 50 years ago due to overfishing, begin recovering. More sharks in the water means more hunting. More hunting means the prey species sharks target most, large fish like tuna, grouper, and rays, experience increased predation pressure. This is the beginning of what ecologists call a trophic cascade, a change at the top of the food chain that ripples all the way to the bottom. Year 10. The trophic cascade is now visible. In ecosystems where shark populations have been studied after recovery, like parts of the Pacific and Indian Oceans, the pattern is consistent. As sharks increase, large prey fish decrease slightly in number, but become healthier and faster. Because the weak, sick, and slow ones are being removed first. The ocean is not being depleted, it is being culled, selectively, efficiently, the way it evolved to be. Year 25. Seagrass and coral reefs are recovering. This is the part that surprises people. How do sharks, which don't eat seagrass or coral, affect reef health? Through the trophic cascade. Sharks keep large fish populations in check. Those fish keep smaller herbivorous fish in check. Those herbivorous fish keep algae growth in check. Algae overgrowth is the primary cause of coral reef death worldwide. Remove the shark and the cascade fails. Add the shark back and the cascade restores. Year 50. The deep ocean is changing. Sharks don't just hunt at the surface. Many species patrol the deep, hunting at depth and surfacing to breathe and warm up. Their vertical movement pumps nutrients from the deep ocean toward the surface. This nutrient cycling supports the phytoplankton blooms at the ocean surface that produce roughly half of all the oxygen on Earth. More sharks moving vertically through the water column means more nutrient cycling, means more phytoplankton, means more oxygen. Not a trivial amount, a measurable one. Year 100. Shark species diversity is expanding. Without human predation pressure or orca competition, species that had been suppressed, smaller reef sharks, deep water species, filter-feeding whale sharks, are filling ecological niches they had been pushed out of. The ocean's apex predator layer is becoming more complex, more distributed, more resilient. This is what the ocean looked like for 440 of the 450 million years sharks have existed. Humans disrupted it in fewer than 200. Year 200. Here is where the scenario diverges, depending on which ocean. In the Atlantic, where overfishing of large fish had already collapsed several populations before sharks recovered, the cascade restoration is slower. In the Pacific, where some prey populations remained intact, the restoration is faster and more complete. In the Indian Ocean, where warming from climate change is stressing coral systems regardless of predator dynamics, shark recovery helps, but cannot fully counteract the temperature damage. The scenario is not uniform, ecosystems are not uniform. Year 500. The number that defines this scenario is this. In regions where shark populations fully recovered and trophic cascades were restored, fish biomass, the total weight of all fish in the ocean, increased by an estimated 20 to 30% compared to the current degraded baseline. That is not a marginal improvement. That is the difference between oceans that can sustain global fisheries indefinitely and oceans that cannot. The shark is not the threat to the food supply. It is the mechanism that protects it. And here is what makes this more than hypothetical. Shark populations have declined by more than 70% since 1970 due to overfishing, bycatch, and finning. We are not in the scenario where sharks have no predators. We are in the opposite scenario, one where sharks have too many in the form of human fishing pressure, and the trophic cascades we have just described in reverse. The coral reef decline, the fish population collapse, the disrupted nutrient cycling are already happening, right now, in real oceans. So here is what 500 years without shark predators actually looks like. Year 1. Populations begin recovering. Year 10, the trophic cascade becomes visible. Year 25, coral reefs restore. Year 50, oxygen production increases measurably. Year 100, species diversity expands. Year 200, regional variation emerges. Year 500, ocean fish biomass up 20 to 30%. The ocean that sustained human civilization for millennia, restored. By the animal we spent centuries trying to eliminate. We have 500 years of oceans to lose or recover. The shark is not the problem. Probably never was. New video every 2 days. Subscribe so you don't miss the next one.